Hi everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Book Chat. So here in Canada, you may know from a couple of weeks ago that June is National Indigenous History Month. Well, yesterday was Indigenous Peoples Day in Canada, and so when I was picking this week's book, I wanted to just acknowledge a couple of things that I have been working on in the last year or two for myself. So one of the things I realized about a year and a half ago is that I really was unaware of Indigenous authors, creators, change makers in general in Canada. And, I knew a few, but not really very many. And then when I talked to my students, they knew even less. So one of my jobs, I feel, is to fix that and make sure that we have that representation in Canada from all people who have made really amazing contributions. So I wanted to pick a book today that was written by an Indigenous author. And unfortunately, the book is at school and I'm in the middle of moving classrooms. So I am going to insert a picture of the cover here. So the book is called What is the Most Beautiful Thing You Know About Horses? And the premise from this book, Richard Van Camp is the author, and he is from the Northwest Territories. And so this story is about a boy who has never seen a horse. And if we live in middle of North America, we tend to think, well, everybody's seen a horse. How could you not have seen a horse? But people in the Arctic and the Northwest Territories and the North are thinking, well, how could you have never seen a polar bear? So I like this story because it brings to light some of the things that we don't always think about. So this boy has never seen a horse, and he's trying to get people around him to describe what a horse is like. So I have to admit I was influenced to pick this choice this year for my class. We read it in the fall because one of my students is a very avid equestrian, and I knew as soon as I read this book that she would absolutely love it. And I also knew as soon as I read the book, because the illustrations are amazing, that it would connect really well for a great art lesson. So we actually, after we read the book, we did an art lesson with pastels, creating an animal that would maybe not be quite the way that you visualize it. So I am going to insert a picture here from the book. And this just gives you an idea of what the illustrations in this book are like and why it makes such a great art lesson where you can go. So my students picked any animal that they wanted, and they created a version of the animal based on the illustrations in this book. So, and the illustrations are by George Littlechild, and they're scene-stealing illustrations for sure. So one of the things that I definitely want to do on this channel is work in some more Indigenous authors and highlight some more books about Indigenous culture, and also, some favorites that I have had from over the years. So we're going to be working on that, so I'm excited to get through the summer months and see what we can read over the summer. And then, we'll start back in the fall. There might be a little different flavor with some younger focus on our books in the fall, because I am making the move to kindergarten in the fall. So, but we'll keep it mixed up so that everybody's got something that's interesting to listen to. So thanks for tuning in today, and have a wonderful week, and we will talk to you next week.